My name is Kate. I'm from South Africa, but I live in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. I had been directing a theatre performance in South Africa and was returning home to Amsterdam via London Heathrow. Owing to the fact that 2 days previously a major terrorist plot was uncovered, passengers were not allowed to take any hand luggage on board. The guy I had been working with in South Africa had just written a book, and at the airport kiosk in Johannesburg, I bought 2 copies of it and popped them into my transparent plastic bag, which was supplied courtesy of the airport. On landing in the early morning, the mood at Heathrow Airport was somber and still somewhat chaotic after the previous day's code red alarm. At the first security check, a customs official took my brand new books and threw them in a dustbin. I was dumbfounded and quite irritated by the guy's idiotic behavior. I mean, it's a book, for God's sake. What can it do? Blow up your mind? 5 minutes later, still annoyed that someone can actually take 2 books from your possession and throw them away, a female customs officer was patting me down. With her surgical gloves, she pointed to a small bulge in my pocket and asked me, "What's that?" I jokingly referred to the lip balm in my pocket as a bomb. As soon as I uttered the word bomb to the woman, I realized the mistake I'd made, and I tried to explain myself. She asked me to repeat what I had just said. I told her I was only joking, and since we were all being terribly inconvenienced by the whole Heathrow horror story, I was hoping that she'd understand. She made me stay where I was and started conferring with a male colleague of hers. After some discussion, he came over and he asked me whether it was true that I had said that I was carrying a bomb in my pocket. I admitted to him that I had said it, but that it was a joke and that I was sorry. "Well, that's not a very funny joke. You can explain this sense of humor of yours to the police." They took my passport and ushered me into a waiting area. After some time, 4 heavily armed policemen entered the scene. I explained to them that I'd made a stupid joke and that I was obviously not a terrorist. They weren't too unsympathetic about my situation, and the youngest even seemed to fancy me a bit. But they told me that now that security had called them down there, they had to follow this thing through. This meant they had to take me into custody. Only when they walked me out of the airport and ushered me into the cage in the back of the police van, it dawned on me this thing was turning into a real nightmare. At the police station, I was officially arrested. They took DNA from my mouth, they took photographs, and I was told that a lawyer would come to see me. They also asked me if I wanted to make a phone call. I thought the only person to call would be my brother, but my cell phone was in my luggage and I couldn't remember his telephone number. While locked in the cell, I was absolutely terrified. Not so much about being in a cell, but about them finding my laptop in my luggage. On my laptop, which was used during the theatre performance in Johannesburg, was a sticker on the cover with the text, "A Passion for Security." On the computer itself was a screensaver which said, "Tomorrow's Revolution Now," with a photo of a Palestinian freedom fighter, AK-47 and all. On the hard disk there were literally hundreds of violent and disturbing images of various political turmoils from all over the world, and especially, of course, Iraq, the biggest news item of the moment. I was praying that they would not find the laptop, as the whole situation could go fearfully Kafkian. Outside my cell, a young cop was singing Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up." Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna turn around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. After an hour in my cell, I was told that the lawyer I was provided with was there to see me. He asked me what had happened and told me I would have to make a formal statement in the presence of a detective and himself. An independent counsel would then decide whether my case would go to court or not. He told me that the worst-case scenario would be 2 years in jail. The interview was conducted by a female detective. She asked me all these questions about being married, having a boyfriend, having children, etc. And somehow, just by her tone and the way she asked me these questions, I started to feel like a real fucking loser. Not married, no boyfriend, no one expecting me home. Both the lawyer and the friendly cop had told me that I should show as much remorse possible, and that's exactly what I did. I don't know how many times I said I was sorry. I was sent back to my cell, and after another 2 hours, another cop came to tell me I was going to be okay. My case was not going to go to court. I was going to be issued with a formal warning, and they were going to deport me to Amsterdam, and only in Amsterdam would I get my passport back. They escorted me to the plane, gave my passport to the captain, and I went to sit down in my designated seat. I fastened my seatbelt and looked outside and saw that it was getting dark again. I was pretty disturbed by everything that had happened. Behind me, a Dutch mother was trying to get her 3 children to behave. One of the kids kept asking what a bomb was and whether you needed fire to ignite a bomb. I thought, fucking hell, is this for real?